Greetings, my name is Nomzam. Congratulations and welcome to the University of South Africa. These are exciting times ahead. As a student myself, my message to you would be to value every opportunity and experience that comes ahead. Feel proud that you're here. Online or in person, make the most out of it. You will now become part of an amazing community. And with that comes a title. You will now be referred to as a fellow UNISA. Counseling support services are in place to support you to find a way to successfully manage your studies. As a student, you should contact UNISA counselors by email to assist and advise you on your career planning and your UNISA studies. Free counseling is provided in 3 different areas to all registered students. Career guidance counseling to help you choose the right qualification in line with your interest, abilities, and personality. Counselors are mainly online. Academic support, assisting students to adjust to the ODA, that is open distance e-learning environment. There are workshops and seminars on how to manage your time, how to deal with work pressures, study skills, and study methods. Personal counseling offers practical and emotional guidance related to personal matters that prevent you from focusing on your studies. So that's it. Remember, all these facilities are here to help you with your studies. No more excuses. We encourage you to make use of these services. And if you still need more information or advice, please drop us an email and we will respond to your request.
Did you know you are now able to book an online session with a student counselor on Microsoft Teams? To make a booking, simply click on the link or scan the QR code provided on our information page, or visit our webpage at www.unisa.ac.za/counseling and click on Contact Us, and then select Make an Appointment. All the available UNISA counseling centers will be displayed in all regions of the country. Select the center closest to you. Scroll down to select a date and time. You may even choose a specific counselor you wish to see. Type in all the required information. This will enable the counselor to assist you in the best possible way. And hit the book button. You will immediately receive an email with the link to join the online session, and also a reminder one day before the session. We hope you will make use of this new service, and we hope you enjoy the workshop session.
Sanbonani, Dumelani, Absheni, welcome Rela Amarela to the UNISA Accounting Professionals Workshop Day 2. My name is Gogejo Munonde and I will be your program director for the day alongside Mahlatse Mphatlele. Thank you so much for joining us today. Before we start with the program, please let us observe the following house rules. May we please keep our mics and cameras turned off at all times, especially during the duration of presentations, so as to not disturb the presenters as they present. Microsoft Teams has provided us with the reactions function. May I ask that we make use of these during presentations to interact with our presenters, also to raise our hand during the question and answer session. Most importantly, absorb as much information as possible to help you in carving your career path. To do the opening and welcome, please allow me to welcome Ms. Mphatlele Mahlatse.
Thank you so much, Program Director. A warm welcome to everyone that has taken the time to come and join us for this event. I would like to thank all of our speakers that have made time and have dedicated all the time that they have to share their knowledge and expertise to our students. And I would like to ask that our students just absorb as much knowledge as possible. Just make as much notes as you can, and just absorb all the information that comes your way today. It is going to be a very informative workshop. We had a day 1 yesterday, and today we have invited different regulatory boards, and we have also invited different professionals. We have invited Bank CETA, we've invited CIMA, we've invited management accountant professionals. So we're hoping that today will be as beneficial as yesterday was. I hope that this program will be able to aid you in any way that you may need to be helped. And I will like to officially open this event. And yes, thank you so much, Program Director.
Thank you so much, Ms. Mphatlele, for the warm welcome and officially opening the program. With that, allow me to invite our first speaker who will be sharing about UNISA tutorials. He is a tutorial officer at UNISA Gauteng region. Please allow me to welcome Mr. Hloni Rakomo. Sir, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Madam Program Director. Let me just try to put up my presentation. And thank you, everybody, for making your time to attend on this Friday. So your attendance is very, very valuable. Let me try to do this and then put up my presentation and then Madam Program Director, can you see it?
Yes, we can see it.
Thank you very much.
But also your team's screen is showing. Yes, there we go.
Yeah, we're getting there. As I have been introduced, my name is Hloni Rakomo. I'm responsible for tutorial services in Ekurhuleni However, I will be talking in broadly about the tutorial services that is being offered in UNISA Ekurhuleni. We have tutorial sessions this year and as well as previous years, but that are happening online. So they are using MS Team platform, and that is the only dedicated platform that we are using. What are the benefits here? As you know, once you've registered with a UNISA and then you've paid your study fees, then you've been activated, you no longer being a temporary student or TP student. Then you fall under all the services that are being offered in UNISA, and those services are for free. One of those services is tutorial services. Tutorial services, as I've indicated, now we are running them online. So we have a bit of structure here. The tutorial sessions in a semester, they are spread according to your curriculum. You might attend the 7 classes or the 6 classes, depending on number of hours that are being scheduled. So we don't have enough time resources on the tutorials. Half the time is 2 hours. And for example, in this semester, we have September and October, the exams. So as I've indicated, we don't have enough resources around that. So we will have 7 sessions that you will have to attend, and we try to cover the whole curriculum around that. And they are delivered via MS Teams. You need to enroll. You need to go to UNISA website, My UNISA, and enroll for tutorials to show your interest in attending those. But other than that, you can attend once you receive the link. We will talk about the link and how to get the link. So there won't be a face-to-face, but it will be online. It means we don't have to travel. We just have to log into our computer and enroll for and attend the classes as per schedule. Half the time we will have the evenings as well as the Saturdays. So it means you are benefiting in terms of the time slot. It will be at your comfort zone, and it will be on Saturdays. Of course, there are errors that you need to run on Saturdays. However, the studies is what you have chose to do for a particular period. You will then have to give out some times there to save for that purpose. There will be some recordings for the classes. We will then share the recordings in the UNISA different platform. It can even email to you per request. The main point in tutorials, we deal with subject content. You need to bring your study material, and we're only concentrating on the subject content that are in your study material. Other resources, unfortunately, it will be difficult to measure unless if you are on the postgraduate level, because the resources are vast according to the curriculum in that level. So where do you find us, or how to enroll for the tutorials? As I've indicated, you go to UNISA website. I think we will then have to try to do the live website visit there to show you how to enroll, other than to do the presentation only. However, it's a simple process. You need to log in. Once you have logged in, you need to go to your admin. Under admin, you will see a drop down there that says enroll for tutorials. You click on that, you enroll for tutorials. You will then, when you enroll for the tutorials, it's here, enroll for learning center tutorials. Once you click here, it will then take you to another slot where you will then see the modules that are being offered. What will be on this list is the modules that are being offered for tutorials. So not all the modules are offered for tutorials. There will be a selected list in each and every semester, and that is approved by college, and then we run the tutorials for those. So once you click on the enroll, you don't have to enroll for Ekurhuleni only. You can select the region where you want to attend in. So if you see that Ekurhuleni is not offered this module here, Once you click on the enrollment, you can click another center. As I've indicated, all the tutorials will be offered online. So you just have to get the link and attend the tutorials accordingly. However, we do encourage the student to register to attend the tutorials because it goes on voluntarily. It's not a must for everybody to attend the tutorials. So the communication that we have, which then distinguish or what can be used to separate us, the tutorials in UNISA and other tutorials that we hear students complaining about. So you will then get a communication from us. After time, we always encourage students use My Life because that is a valid email address that we can be able to prove that you are a UNISA student. To communicate with us, you will then have to receive an email communication that comes from UNISA. Any UNISA employee must have a UNISA email address. They cannot use the Google and other things. So we just have to insist on communications, and people must use UNISA email to communicate with you. You will then go to project site to get the invitations or the pamphlets, and those pamphlets happen to have the link and times and date for which regions. Once you get those links, those pamphlets have UNISA logo as well, and it's the format that we use to distinguish ourselves from others. If it's not, then you can just email one of the UNISA tutorial officers to confirm that those tutorials are UNISA tutorials. As I've indicated, we don't charge for UNISA tutorials. If there is a charge, it means those are not UNISA tutorials. UNISA tutorials should be free service to UNISA student. You then have to click into that link and join the session. You might find that some of the posters consist of let me just come in here. Some of this is the link or posters that I'm referring to. You might have a multiple dates. You click, for an example, on number 1, you click there, tutorials online, and attend it on that particular day. The following time, when you attend the sessions, it will be on, for example, it will be on the 7th of August, then you click and join on those 7th August. You cannot click, cannot open the link prior to the classes. There won't be any activities there. So this is the format that we're using, and you can see it got the UNISA logo. So it again shows that these are the UNISA tutorials. There is my contact number there, and there is an email address. Even on other centers, there will be more or less the same format. Once you've got this thing, and then you can be able to log in. There is another way that we communicate with you, and which is via email. You'll receive your email as I've indicated. Again, please let us concentrate on My Life email address, because you will find people are using other different email address, and half the time they might go to the junk and whatsoever. So we don't have to, we miss that kind of communication. This is the system generated email. It's more or less the same as the posters, but this has been loaded, and this is for people who have enrolled for tutorial. In this way, it's easy to just follow those links. Those Teams, MS Teams links is the same as the links that are in here. So you can just click in here, or you can just click on that to join the classes. The reason why we emphasize on people to enroll for the classes, once we have enrolled, so you are in our database, whether it's either in Sunnyside or Ekurhuleni or whatever the center might be. If we happen to do the cancellations for a particular classes, then you will get a system generated cancellation such as this one. So then you will know that this class has been cancelled, even if you got the link via PDF or whatever the platform that you would have been in. So there would be a cancellation that comes directly to you. So you don't get frustrated on that particular day. You can spend time on different things. Currently, this is what we have in Ekurhuleni. I believe right now we are in accounting professions. These are the modules that are happening in Ekurhuleni, but 703 and 704, it has not been, it should be starting sometimes anytime soon, maybe next week or so. So these are the ones that are running. So if you have not been attending in Ekurhuleni or you attending on other centers, it's fine. But if you have not been attending, we are running the classes, and the train is moving a little bit very fast because we don't have enough time. My last presentation is about distinctions, which tend to be frustrating the student. We don't know how the other service providers are getting this information to you, but unfortunately, university, we're still trying to sort it out. Universities' tutorials are free. Look out for UNISA logo. Please ensure, if you are uncertain about anything, communicate with UNISA and insist on email communication. No WhatsApp communication or other communications. And in that way, you would be able to gauge whether this is UNISA tutorials or different people tutorials. And when you communicate, again, the best channel to communicate with is using your My UNISA. And unfortunately, we're still experiencing high volume of students who are not activating or using my live email address. And that itself, it becomes a bit of an issue. As I've indicated, some of the emails goes to junk, and some of the emails will then do not transmit. So we tend to miss certain information in there. Let me just quickly come in here, and on My UNISA, as I've indicated, you will then log in, and then if you just want to see the timetable only, you already enrolled, you can just come into student support and go to tutorial schedule, and then we click on the schedule, and then we'll then go to whatever the offices that you want to see the information for. And let's go to Ekurhuleni. There is the Ekurhuleni, and then we can just click in here, and then you can just click on this, or you can download this and then use it at your own time. However, this is how to access the schedule. You would let me just go and give you another example here. For example, if you go to Science or Florida campus, in Florida they did not put in the schedule, but they already put in the link. So when you click in here, it already shows the financial accounting 1501, and then when you click in here, it starts at 9. This is just straight, it takes you straight to the MS Teams. So they did not put in the timetable or the PDF format. It's just an interactive directly from the system. So this is my talk around the tutorials, and I think it's just, yes, it might be a bit brief, but I think it gives you a light in terms of what we're offering. So briefly, you have to attend 7 sessions. They are run by tutors, and those tutors are not UNISA staff, ad hoc staff contracted by a university. They just come in and logged in and run the classes. Those are the expected. However, they must have a master's and above qualification on a particular subject content. So we can't have a person who have studied education but offered financial accounting. And that should be all from my side, and I can be reached on those telephone numbers as well as that email. Once again, my name is Hloni, and I'm from Ekurhuleni. We're responsible for tutorials, and we thank you for coming to this session. Thank you. Over to you, Madam Program Director.
Thank you so much, Mr. Hloni. We will go into the question and answer session. May I ask that all of our attendees please use the raise hand function to ask Mr. Hloni any questions that you might have pertaining to his presentation. Or alternatively, you may ask your question in the chat box, and I'll ask Mr. Hloni to answer the question from the chat box. So you may ask your question in the chat box or use the raise hand function to ask your questions. Okay, we do have a question from Annelie. Miss Annelie, please unmute your mic and ask your question.
Hi, good morning. Yeah, I'm actually not a prospective student. I'm one of the presenters a bit later today, but I just wanted to make a comment here, and this is something that the students logging in might not be able, be fully appreciative of at this point. The fact that you guys do offer these tutorial services online, firstly, and secondly, that they are for free is really quite remarkable. I deal with quite a few universities. Obviously, those have got the face-to-face classes that have been introduced again, which might not be a suitable alternative for your attendees and for the prospective students. But increasingly, we find that this blended method of teaching, and especially the human interaction that one can have when you attend these tutorial sessions, is exceptionally important for the students and for their learning. So I just want to commend UNISA and especially your program director there for managing it. And it is a difficult project to manage, but to make sure that these students must try as far as possible to participate in these tutorial sessions, and it would be to their advantage, definitely. And that's just my 5 cents worth.
Thank you so much, Ms. Annelie. We truly appreciate your comments. I will take a hand from Lindiwe Mahlangu. Please unmute your mic and ask your question.
Good morning, everyone. I would like to check if I register for tutor classes, how long does it take for me to get access to attend those classes? Thank you.
Must I answer, Madam Director, or you taking another question?
Yes, please do answer, please.
No, the classes are already happening. The delay might be those that have not started. There is no waiting period in there. As I've indicated, you can just go to UNISA website and check in the modules. If the modules is there, then you go and check under the schedules and check the schedules, how far are they running those classes. But we have started with some classes. It's only few that has not been started. It should be starting sometimes anytime next week. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I hope Ms. Lindiwe has answered. We do have a question in the chat box that reads, do all tutorial groups offer MS Teams classes?
Yes, the system that we are using are on MS Teams. We are not on Zoom or other platform. However, as I've indicated, there are limited number of modules that we are offering the sessions on. It's only this year and a previous year that is fully on Teams. We're not so sure in terms of next year. Probably when the demands rises, it might be a blended or hybrid format. However, currently it's on MS Teams. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question says, good day, sir. Why are there no scheduled TUT tutorial sessions for the Western Cape?
I'm not so sure. However, you are welcome to send me an email. It might be that they want to start next week as well. But you can send me the email. I would check with or forward my email, your email to my colleagues in Western Cape. They can update you on that one.
Thank you,
madam.
Next question says, I just want to find out if the self-study courses or modules have recorded tutorials and how do I get access to them? Mr. Hloni?
Sorry, with the recordings, you can either send the organizer or the person who in charge for that particular module an email, or you can have the time, then they will direct you to a different platform where you can find the recordings. Yes, that's another way to get the recordings. However, the best is to just request the recordings. In some instances, you'll find that the recordings, when you click on it, if you attended a session, when you click on it, it's just open, and then you can be able to get the recordings. In some instances, you can click on it, and then the organizer will then receive an email to give you a permission. So then you can be able to attend it. For an example, if you attended this session, after these sessions, when you go back to Teams and go to, I think it's on activities, you click on activities, you will see the recordings. Try to open that recordings. It might give you a recordings immediately, or it will then send the organizer an email that you must grant a permission for this particular person, and then you'll get the recordings. There are different ways to get the recording. Thank you, madam.
Thank you so much, Mr. Hloni. We truly appreciate your presentation and interacting with our students to get information to them. I will be moving on to the next speaker, who is a specialist in marketing and communications from Bank CETA. Please allow me to welcome Mr. Sipho Mahaba. Mr. Mahaba, are you with us?
Yes, I'm with you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Thank you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Mr. Mahaba.
Can you hear me? Okay. Let me share the presentation. I'm trying to share the presentation. I'm not sure this is my side.
Mr. Mahaba, you may send your presentation to us and we can project on your behalf.
Yes.
I will drop my email in the comments, okay, in the chat box. Please give us a moment while we assist Mr. Mahaba to project his presentation. Thank you. Mr. Mahaba, may I ask that you please forward your presentation to my colleague who has posted her her email address in the chat box so that we may assist you in projecting. While we do that, I will move on to the next speaker and you will go after them.
Okay, no, thanks.
Thank you so much. Our next speaker is a development manager at CIMA. Please allow me to welcome Ms. Zintle Dube. Ma'am, are you ready for us?
Yes, I am. Good morning, everyone. Let me just also try and share my slides. Okay, can someone just notify me if you can view my slides?
Yes, we can. Thank you.
Okay, awesome. So good morning, everyone. My name is Zintle Dube, and I'm a business development manager at CIMA. So I'm just going to give you a short presentation about CIMA, and hopefully this will assist you in making your next steps into activating your CIMA registration in the near future. Oh, apologies. Okay, apologies. Can I just reshare? Okay. Am I back on? Can everyone see my slides?
Yes, you are back.
Okay, thank you. So created in 1919, CIMA's history has evolved to meet the changing needs of finance and financial professionals within both the public and the private sector. And as CIMA ushers into this new era in history with the consolidation of our joint venture with the AICPA to form a single association, which is one of the largest and most influential bodies within accounting globally, we continue this journey. CIMA will remain an independent membership body, but as part of the association, we are able to spread the best of management accounting more effectively. So the association is a joint venture that was established in 2012 between the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants, which is the AICPA, and the Chartered Institute of Management Accountants, which is CIMA, the latter being how we are currently trading in South Africa. Now, from this graphic, you can see our great global footprint and our member base. Just to give you some stats, in Africa alone, we have more than 5,000 members and more than 14,000 students in our continent. So this slide speaks to how rapidly the work environment is changing and how important and beneficial it is for us to keep abreast of the changes as well as to become more agile and ready to adapt. It also makes one think of the pace and the race between technology and education in the future of work. Now, here are some more insights that truly represent the pace and the race of technology and education in the future of work. Now, how scary is this statistics that puts into perspective the scope and the pace of change ahead of us and how important it is for us to remain relevant. Now, at CIMA, we have done extensive research to keep abreast of all these changes in our profession. And in our findings, we conclude that the shape of the finance structure is changing rapidly. As you can see, the occupations at the base of this pyramid are most likely to become automated. Having said that, more occupations will emerge within the finance function, especially those at the apex. We at CIMA are proud to be able to say that we have organized learning within the CIMA qualification within our qualification that will help you be ready for all these changes within our competency structure. Now, Dr. Knoll, which is our head researcher, helped us surface some insights to align jobs, performance, competencies, learning, and solutions. So by registering for the CIMA qualification, you'll be well positioned for employability and career progression in the future of finance, as well as other sectors, and also if you decide to be self-employed. The qualification will help you to be well positioned. So we've talked a lot about technologies and changing the world and altering our realities. So it's also important to note that consumer demands and expectations are changing very rapidly, and they expect more from us than ever before. They're expecting more comprehensive services, more immediate accesses, more strategic guidance, and more value. Now, these technologies are changing the world, and one has to give enormous opportunities to help them beyond and remain more strategic. So with CIMA and also our trusted partners, we are able to do this. So now from this graphic, you can see some examples that highlight all these changes. For example, we have changes with cloud. So there's 53% of firms that are now using cloud-based accounting software. Another example would be more IT spending, a lot of cloud-based to align their talks in technology and impact. And this is impacting us really greatly. So you can see an example of this in the Forbes research. So ladies and gentlemen, this is the refreshed CGMA competency framework, which incorporates a broad spectrum of competencies of the finance function. Within this new competency, you'll see that we have 5 different core areas, with ethics being the over-embedding area of focus, as well as digital skills, as we are in a digital world. So let's look at this qualification. Now, for the entry-level worker or self-employment seeker, this person can be a high school leaver, a graduate, an internship program. Let's now start our qualification. Now, this individual can start with the CIMA certificate in business accounting. This certificate is aimed at an NQF level 5. And once one completes it, they can also become self-employed or become a tax practitioner. This certificate is comprised of 4 different objective tests, which take 2 hours each to complete. We have over 5,000 exam centers worldwide where you can choose to complete this certificate. Once you have completed the certificate, you earn the designation letters CIMA Cert BA. Once one has completed the CIMA Cert BA, the certificate, they can then go through to the core qualification. This is it's for the professional employee. It's time to learn, unlearn, and relearn. So this qualification is comprised of 3 different levels. We start at the operational level, which is aimed at NQF level 6. Once one completes the NQF level 6, they then are awarded the designation SEMA Diploma in Management Accounting. Then one can then progress to the second level, which is the management level. The management level is aimed at an NQF level 7. Once one completes the management level, they then get the designation and the certificate SEMA Advanced Diploma in Management Accounting. Once one completes this level, then they go to the last level of the qualification, which is the strategic level. It is then aimed at NQF level 8. And once one completes that strategic level, they become exam complete and then can apply to become a SEMA member and earn the designation CGMA ACMA, which is our globally recognized qualification. When applying for the SEMA qualification, we also do have special pathways. So special pathways are our RPL recognition, whereby if a student has any work experience, they can, and as well as an academic qualification or a professional qualification, they can apply for exemptions using that. And based on the exemptions that you have, which is your work experience, your academic qualification, and your professional body qualifications, you can be eligible to be exempted from some of these exams, which will help you to fast track your qualification. Then you'll become a CGMA, ACMA member in a faster time. These applications are assessed individually, and every individual will get their feedback upon approval. Now, the pandemic has taught us that change doesn't knock at the door. It literally barges in. The CGMA Financial Leadership Program, and also known as the FLP, is our new self-directed digital option for students to complete the SEMA qualification and then earn the CGMA ACMA designation. Now, as an organization who understands education, technology, and the future of finance, we have launched the FLP to be able to reach our learners no matter where they are and how they wish to arrange their own personal learning. This program is an online self-paced, so students can develop their skills at any time from anywhere. The CGMA FLP is designed specifically for students entering the business world and with working in professionals, using real-world scenarios to help them learn new frameworks and tools that they'll be able to apply immediately in the business environment, giving them a very solid foundation for the business acumen that can help them in their careers. So if at this point you are still considering if you should study the SEMA qualification or not, you may also want to consider a few things. Firstly, do you want to enhance your employability? Now, employers around the world choose CGMA holders. If you are considering a career in business and finance and want to work with world-class employers, a CGMA designation and becoming a member of SEMA will help you get right there. You may also want to consider if you want to choose your own role. Now, the SEMA qualification is designed to bring together management, accounting, and financial accounting, as well as business. So you'll have practical skills employers really need. You'll be qualified to work in a wide range of roles, from finance to consultancy to IT to senior management positions, as well as being self-employed, of course. Thirdly, you may want to consider if you want to increase your earning potential. Now, CGMA designation holders work at the heart of business and have the skills that are needed to create real value for the employers. The value employers place on these contributions are clearly reflected in our 2017 salary survey. Now, lastly, you may also want to consider if you want to study at your own pace. Now, our on-demand exams and the flexible structure puts you in direct control of your work. So the pace is totally at your own discretion. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to thank you for your time, and I do hope that we will further engage. This is our contact details in case you want to engage with us more. Feel free to give us a call, send us an email, or check our website, and you'll definitely be ready to assist you with further information. That leads me to the end of my presentation.
Thank you so much, Ms. Dube, for such an insightful presentation. We will go into the question and answer session. As I've already stated, please do use the chat box to ask your question or the raise hands function. And once you are given the platform, please unmute your mic and ask your question. Do we have any questions for Ms. Dube? We have one. It says, I want to know which level, certificate or operational level, will I start at CIMA if I have a BCom degree in accounting science?
Okay, so obviously that is subject to approval. However, if you go into our FLP with a BCom in accounting, you would start at the management level. But as I said, that is subject to approval, so you still have to apply, and it would be assessed. But that is the general starting point for that qualification.
Next, thank you. I hope Anivui is answered. The next question says, at NQF7, what do I need to do to be a CMGM? CGM.
Oh, CGMA. Okay, so I don't know if the student is asking at NQF level 7, this is their own qualification that they have received, or the CIMA NQF level qualification, but I'll answer both. So if you have the CIMA NQF level 7, that is the management level, for you to complete the core qualification, you would then need to do the strategic level, which would get you to the NQF level 8. So you just need one more level. If you are saying that you have a current qualification via UNISA or any other institute that is at NQF level 7, just like my previous answer, you would need to apply and would assess your qualification at which level it would be. But generally, if you are going with the FLP program and your NQF level 7 qualification, which is probably a degree, is a finance or accounting degree, you would start again at the management level. So when you at the management level, you complete management, and then you'd then go to strategic level, complete it, and then you'd get your CGMA designation.
Thank you. I hope that student is answered. We do have a hand from Rod. Rod, please ask your question.
Morning. So what I would like to ask, do you, after completing your education, do you still need to do articles? Because I know with SAICA, you have to do like 3 years training. So with CIMA, is there like training that you have to do before you can be given the qualification?
Okay. Yes. So it's almost like how SAICA works, but a bit different. So we do, after you've completed the strategic level, we do need you to complete a portfolio, which gives us acknowledgement that you have at least 36 months, which is 3 years of practical experience. However, this 36 months doesn't have to be immediately after you have finished the strategic level. You can have previous work that you have already done before that can help you complete the portfolio, as long as that work that you have done is in line with the portfolio of evidence that you need to comply. So basically showing that you have gained management experience, you have gained people skills experience, you have gained the technical experience within accounting and finance and so forth. So we give you like a whole portfolio of evidence that you need to complete. So if you've done all of that work before, you just need to provide the proof. And if you haven't, then you would need to attain that 36 months afterwards before you can become a member.
Okay, sorry. So the proof of employment, so it means you will need a report from the employers that I was working from, or I can just file a report.
Yes, so it's a very detailed, we give you the template. So you would need to complete things like a very detailed CV, basically saying that within, let's say, for example, you say you were a manager at a certain company, you'd have to give us all the responsibilities you had. And then that manager or your supervisor would have to sign off to say that, yes, you did actually perform all those responsibilities.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Sinclair. May I ask that you answer the rest of the questions in the chat box? I see there are some few in the chat box so that we can continue with our program.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you so much. Mr. Makgaba, are you ready for us? Mr. Makgaba?
Yes, I'm free.
Thank you. You may take the floor.
Able to see my presentation? Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
To see my presentation?
No, we are unable to see your presentation, but it does look like you are sharing your screen. It hasn't come up yet.
Maybe it's still coming, running, some with the networks, but can you hear me?
I can definitely hear you, sir.
Okay, no, thanks for giving us opportunity. As Bensita, we are one of the statutory SITAs in the country. South Africa has 21 SITAs, and Bensita is one that's focusing on the banking and finance sector specifically to support the banking sector with various. Our responsibility is to support the banking sector in general, and also to support the learners with bursaries and learnerships and other support structures that learners will have will require. So we have the following offers specifically for learners. We have learnership, internship, bursaries, also fund for PhDs, and we also fund for skills program. We also have we pay off your debt for NSFAS debts that you may have as a learner. Then you apply to us. Then we directly for those funds. We also do a lot of career guidance in partnership with various organizations, including UNISA, as we do now. We have across the country where we run around the career guidance there. These are some of the careers that are fast-moving careers in the banking sector. We have identified, because annually we conduct a study as Bensita to say what kind of opportunities and careers that are growing in the banking sector. On the slide, it shows a different career that are growing, that we have identified currently, that we from 2021 to 2025 for the next 5 years. These are the fast-moving careers in the financial sector. And these are the learnership that we are offering. We have various learnerships at Bensita that we offer. Specifically, we also have a learnership for matriculant who just completed any form of qualification. The purpose of this learnership is to expose students into the banking sector generally. A learner will be placed in any bank of that we have choice, so that a learner will be able to understand actually what kind of a career are they in the banking sector, so that when he going to further his studies, he's able to say, oh, I can choose this kind of a career in the banking sector. Also, we have another learnership for postgrad learners who completed their qualifications. Also, it's a 12 months learnership. We place them at various banks annually. We also developed 2 new learnership that for business analysts, those who have just completed business analysts, and also for cybersecurity, who have done some IT-related courses and finance-related courses under cybersecurity. We also place them into various banking sector and telecommunication industries, where they will be able to get exposure and learnership. Currently, in terms of our internship, we have about 4,500 learners under this current year. Then for cybersecurity, we have about 120 learners that we have been placed. For business analysts, we have about 44 learners. We've placed each bank took 1 learner under their learnership for business analysts. Also for matriculant, we have about 50 learners that we have placed under ABSA, FNB, and Standard Bank, and 10 are under Investec currently, and the Discovery Bank have taken 5 learners that are just for matric. We also have bursaries. So far, these are the number of learners that we have already placed in various universities in terms of our bursary scheme. Then we have about 40 from University of Pretoria, the University of Venda. We also have learners there, and other universities. When you look at these are also some of the universities that we also have learners under bursary scheme. Then also for UNISA, we still not yet have any learner under the bursary scheme under UNISA. We still urge UNISA to apply to apply to ask for their learners and so on. Then for PhD and master's degrees, we have a program for learners who want to study any financial related courses in the for masters and PhD to the bill of 70,000 per annum. And so here I'll share a bit of some of the successes of the BankSita to date.
Mr. Makhoba, I think we may have lost you.
Are you able to hear the voice?
Yes, now I'm able to hear you.
Okay. I'm saying, are you able to hear the video? Okay.
No, the video is not playing. On my screen is the learnership presentation.
Okay, I think we might have a technical problem on the video itself. But for more information, you can contact us on the following platforms. We have our WhatsApp line directly, where learners can just have a lot of questions. If they have any questions to ask, they can do that. Our Facebook is very active, both our inbox also. In terms of responding, we have like 6-hour response time for our Facebook, and then for our Twitter, we have also put ourselves at a 12-hour response time. For LinkedIn, we have put ourselves into 24-hour response time for that. Thank you, Program Director.
Thank you so much, Mr. Makhoba, for such an insightful presentation. I'm sure our our guests have absorbed as much as they can, and I am sure they also do have questions for you, and we will go into the Q&A session right now. I will ask that you also answer questions in the chat box during the duration of the program. Do we have any questions for Mr. Makgoba? Mr. Makgaba, it seems we do not have any question. In the absence of that, I will move on with the program. But please do look in the chat box that any questions. Oh, we do have a question from Gugu. She asks, how do I apply for a learnership?
Okay. For learnership, we normally invite learners annually. We open for in the 2nd of January, between 2nd of January and 30th of March annually, where you can go to our website, then where you can apply directly from our website. There's a form that you apply. It depends on in terms of the qualifications, because we list all the qualifications that we are supporting for learnership. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Makgaba. Please continue to answer any questions that may arise during the duration of the program in the chat box. And thank you for affording us and awarding us your time. So allow me to welcome our next speaker, who is a management accounting professional. She is a qualified chartered accountant and a senior lecturer for financial management in the School of Accountancy. She has at least 5 years' experience as a lecturer. Additionally, she has been a marker for SAICA in the ITC and IPC professional examination. She completed her articles with the Office of the Auditor General, post articles as assessment manager, project manager for both asset valuation and training manager, and management accountant for one of the telecommunications entities. She is currently an academic and pursuing her studies in Master's Financial Management through the University of South Africa. She has developed a passion for young people. Please allow me to welcome Ms. Busisiwe Huma. Ma'am, the floor is yours.
All right. Morning, almost afternoon. Thank you for this opportunity, Program Director, and everyone that has organized this session, this workshop for the upcoming young professionals. I'm not by myself. I'll be doing the presentation. I am with Ms. Matane Ayanda, who's already been attending to some of the questions that you guys have regarding the accounting profession, some of the accounting profession examples. So right now, I'm going to share my slides, and I hope you can see it. Please let me know if you can.
Yes, we can, ma'am.
Perfect. I just wanted to show face, and then I will switch off my camera, and hopefully it will bring some insight in terms of what management accountants do and what are the things that they get up to on a day-to-day basis. All right. I'm going to put my on a presentation mode. As indicated, my name is Busi Huma, and I'm with Ms. Matsane. Both of us are chartered accountants currently in the College of Accounting Science. And today we want to just briefly show you a roadmap. You will see that it's almost similar to CIMA. And what are the work requirements for a management accountant? What are the skills that are required and challenges that you face within the profession? And I think this is a roadmap that one should have. As a young professional, you should have a roadmap in front of you, something that you are looking forward in terms of the development in your areas. And these are the areas that we're going to cover within our session as well. I don't want to deliberate a lot on how to become a CA, but this is a general summary. You can also find it under the SICA website. So if you Google SICA and you type how to become a chartered accountant, it will give you the roadmap on how to become a chartered accountant. I just wanted to highlight that you can be a full-time or a part-time student in doing the certification, and as a part-time you need to be in a training office that can allow you to do the training contract for 5 years. And if you're doing a full-time as a student, obviously you need to complete your postgraduate diploma in accounting. When you have completed it, then you will enter into a training contract. Thereafter, within that training contract, after a period of time, you will need to write your ITC exam. And after 20 months, you write your APC, which is your second board exam. When you have completed it, you will and pass you've completed your training contract, then you're eligible to register as a chartered accountant. So there are other bodies, obviously, as it was alluded by the previous speaker, there's CIMA, there's ACA as well, that are management accountant as well. So what does a management accountant do on a daily basis? I've just highlighted 3 key areas. They are part of decision makers in terms of making sure that businesses are taking key decisions in their day-to-day and the financial implications in terms of what decisions they need to make for investment decisions, and they need to report on how the spending is made. This can be done monthly, annually, and they prepare it for senior management. And management accountant also provide an oversight over the financial systems and procedures. So they play a very critical role as part of their day-to-day. So what are the skills that are required? I think you will see some of the similarities from what CIMA has already alluded. There's a very big increase in terms of the ethics in all the professions, and you need to make sure that you are ethical, you are aware of your social citizenship, and as a management accountant and within the accounting profession, you embrace long life learning at all times. And some of the skills that you require, we call them acumens. This is in line with the revised SICAM CA 2025. You need to have business acumen, decision-making acumen, digital. You need to know how to use your different softwares as well. You need to be able to be adaptable to the changes that is happening out there. And lastly, as a management accountant, you need to always be up to date with the technical areas that you need to be aware of, so that you are able to give management informed decisions for their finance and the way they invest in their businesses. My slides are very short. Lastly, the challenges that one can face in the profession. I think as young professionals, for me, these are the 3 key areas that I wanted to highlight today, is that it is very important that you become self-aware. You need to be aware of your self-growth. You need to pace yourself in terms of the areas that you need to develop so that you become that person who has a brand that is known, who is an expertise in certain areas. What I like about being a chartered accountant as well, it gives you a variety of things that you can be an expertise in. You can decide while you're growing in your profession that you want to be an expertise as a tax professional, or an accountant only, or an auditor, or a management accountant. So you can choose the area that you want to be an expertise on. And I think everybody is talking about it. The 4th industrial revolution, the relevant, are you going to still be relevant in the job, in the in the job that you're going to be selecting? Are you aligning yourself with the things that are out there in terms of the change in the revolution? So it's very important that when you are challenged or when you find these things, identify mentors that will help you to self-growth, identify people that you aspire to. And you may ask yourself, how do I know who's my mentor? How do I know who do I aspire to? Go into LinkedIn and identify people that are within the profession. Look at their profiles and see how are they becoming the managers, the senior managers of the different companies, and you can aspire to be them one day. From my side, I want to say thank you so much. If there's any question, you are more than welcome to post them on the chat. Me and Ms. Matane will be able to attend them right away. Over to you, MC.
Thank you so much, Ms. Huma and Ms. Mutsani. We appreciate you coming and sharing, imparting knowledge onto us and our students. We will go into the Q&A session. If you do have any questions, please do raise your hand or ask in the chat section, which your questions will be answered. Do we have any raised hands questions for Ms. Huma?
I really like your question, Lindiwe. Do we have mentors at UNISA we can choose from? I'm not aware of a program of mentors, but it's something that we can entertain and maybe ask our chair of departments if they can be able to entertain. I think it will be something that it can assist the student as well in the journey. So it's something that I will definitely take it up with my department chair and have further conversation. Thank you for that.
Thank you, Ms. Huma. In the absence of, we do have another question from Nokolo. She says, Ms. Huma, what can you do with a higher certificate in accounting science?
I think what's very important that you need to just maybe contact our career guidance team. We do have in the College of Accounting Science, they can be able to see the higher certificate that you have. If you do qualify to follow the route to become a chartered accountant, and they'll be able to advise you adequately. I will share with the program director later the contact details as well. Ms. Matsane, over to you.
Yes, thanks, Ms. Huma. You're right. But also in addition, so you can get accredited, especially most of the undergrad modules that you would have had to do. So they will have to look obviously on a case-by-case situation to accredit you some of the modules and maybe move you into a higher level that you would enter in the journey. So please do contact them and give them all your details so that they can advise you accordingly.
Much appreciated. Thank you so much for the participation and the interaction that you are having with our speakers. I truly hope that you are gaining as much knowledge as you possibly can. With that, I will thank Ms. Ayanda and Ms. Busisiwe, and we'll move on to our next presenter. Our next presenter is from South African Institute for Taxation. She achieved her CASA qualification in 2004, and in 2011 achieved her master's degree in taxation. She completed her articles at Deloitte. She had a short stint at Nedbank and then thankfully ended up at KPMG Taxation department, which combined her love for consulting and taxation. At KPMG, she also had the opportunity to present the taxation training course to third-year CA article clerks, which reignited her passion and love for training. Upon the birth of her son in 2011, she left KPMG and started consulting in her private capacity. In 2018, she was assisted in the marketing of SAIT External Integrated Summative Assessment, which led her to long, close involvement with SAIT. Eventually, she assisted with marking, setting, and moderating of the ISA on both tax technician and tax professional level. She then rekindled her love for training and was appointed as head of content at the tax faculty, where she ensured the development of all the training material and introduced a concept of simulation to mirror the actual world of work. Training aligns more closely to the actual world of work to ensure that learners are better prepared to be able to apply knowledge practically. Annalie then moved to a company called Skill Empower Pty Limited in 2020 as the head of education, which specializes in upliftment through skills development. And their company was involved in a project in 2022 where more than 70 become honors students at the University of Johannesburg, University of Cape Town, and University of Pretoria received practical experience and workplace readiness training that is accepted by SAIT. Skill Empower is also involved in projects with cyber and are looking at collaborating with SAICA. Annalie has a passion for education and empowerment through practical application as opposed to theoretical learning. Mastery of content is only achieved when students are guided and shown how to apply difficult concepts, and it is her passion to see students excel and achieve their true potential. Please allow me to welcome Ms. Annalie Lare. Ma'am, the floor is yours. Your mic is muted.
Hi, that's better. You can hear me there and you can see my screen, I'm sure.
Definitely.
Hi, everybody. That's quite an introduction. Thank you very much. I think the next step would be for me to say that I want to have world peace, because it does sound like we've really encompassed all of the things that I'm about in that very brief introduction. Thank you very much for allowing me the opportunity to present SAIT here, the South African Institute of Taxation, in this forum. I want to switch off my camera so that I can make sure we've got enough bandwidth for this very important presentation that I wish to share with you guys today. So, as you guys are hopefully aware of, there are certain scarce skills that are supported by the Financial and Accounting Services SETA or FACET. And you guys firstly can congratulate yourself on selecting a career which is aimed at one of those scarce skills, being in finance. The need in our country for finance, auditing, bookkeeping, and taxation is great. And this is supported by the Facet Sector Scarce Skills list. So what that means is that you should be able to make sure that you can convert this knowledge that you've gained through your time at UNISA to an actual career, because that's the most important thing, right? That at the end of the program, or any program that you do with studies, it's a nice to have, but you actually want it so that you can start earning some money. And well done on selecting a career with UNISA that would be able or should be able to help you to get that employment. Okay, but today I'm going to speak to you very specifically about my greatest passion in life, and that is taxation. And I can say that with humility, because taxation has been very good to me in my life because of the opportunities it has afforded me. And at the South African Institute of Taxation, there are two different designation levels that we offer. The first one being the tax advisor, that is on an NQF 8 level. And then the second one is on a tax technician level, and that is on an NQF 6. Okay, and I will speak about that a little bit more. Now, before we start with all of the detailed information, I would like to just briefly set the stage in talking about what a professional body is and what a professional designation is, okay? A professional body has got individual members that are practicing a particular professional occupation. And this organization, this professional body, then provides oversight over these individuals. So it's important to note that a professional body, because of that oversight role, there is definitely a role to play by a professional body in assuring and ensuring that the members of that professional body is of a certain standard. And that is any professional body, SAICA, SAIBA, SAIPA. We've had most of those professional bodies in the conversation today, and I'm sure yesterday. But the benefit of professional body membership specifically for taxation is that in order for you to be able to submit tax returns to the receiver of revenue, to SARS, you have to own or have, and this is on behalf of somebody else, you have to have a tax practitioner number. And SARS has allocated certain professional bodies who they call recognized controlling bodies. And if you are a member of that professional body, you are able to attain a tax practitioner number. And the reason for that is that SARS acknowledges the role that these professional bodies play in ensuring that there's a quality and intrinsic competence of its members. So if you are pursuing a career in taxation, and that is something that you would like to do, it is critical that you do form part of a professional body that is accredited by SARS. You call that having an RCB status, so that you can get the tax practitioner number and submit tax returns on behalf of your clients. Okay, so that it's important for all professional bodies, but if you want to do accounting, but specifically so for taxation. Then in terms of a professional designation, that is a title that is used to signify a person's professional role or to designate membership, okay? So this is the CASA at the end of a chartered accountant's name. That is their designation, they're a chartered accountant. Now for SAIT, we are the largest professional tax body in South Africa. We've got about 11,000 members at the moment. We are playing a leading role in developing a tax policy, and we've got tax policy meetings where, remember, if SARS wants to change any section of the Act, there's usually a process that they follow where they invite the public to comment. Now, SITE offers its members a seat at the table where all of the people that would potentially be affected by such changes can now raise their objections or make other recommendations, or at least, have themselves heard on any such changes. So, and in that regard, SAIT is playing a crucial role. And as I stated, it is recognized as a controlling body for SARS. And therefore we can issue that, make sure that you are able to obtain the tax practitioner number. And then also there's credibility to citing that we are registered with SAQA as a professional body. Okay, now why is it great to belong to SAIT? The first one, you get your SARS tax practitioner number with SAIT, but what we also offer is access to a tax helpline. Now, what that means is that we support our members by having technical experts that are available on call if you battle with application of a certain section of the Act and you don't know exactly how you should apply it because you don't have the experience. So in that way, we reinvest the whole time in our members to make sure that they are able to maintain that intrinsic level of competence and professionalism and accuracy that we expect of them. We have regional representatives in every region. We have professional indemnity insurance that is included in your membership. And for taxation, this is also very important. Remember, if you make a mistake and your client suffers losses due to penalties and interest on SARS, you know where they're going to come to try and recover that penalties. And therefore, that professional indemnity insurance is very important in taxation. Membership that is fully recognized by SAQA. We have tax policy working groups that we spoke about. We have large-scale events. You might be aware of the Tax in Durban that is held annually, and annually it is also attended by many of the big firms and also SARS representatives. And then, of course, if you belong to a professional body, CPD, continuous professional development is extremely important, because that is a number of hours that you need to, of educational training that you need to undergo annually in order for you to ensure that you remain up to date, especially, as you all know, for taxation, that is very important. Now, membership criteria for SAIT depends on the level of expertise, and the entry level really counts, academic qualifications is what is important for the entry criteria. And just like any other professional designation, there's also an element of workplace experience or logbook. And my colleague from CIMA actually commented on that specific item as well, where it's very important for you to get that logbook experience. I just want to quickly break my rank with my own presentation here, and just elaborate a little bit. If you are studying towards an accounting degree and you've got taxation as one of your subjects, you might not even know what a career in taxation entails. And it might be that maybe taxation is for you, but you just don't know it yet because you haven't been exposed to it. So if we can maybe just quickly break here, and for me to explain who I would think is a very good candidate for having a career in taxation. This is typically somebody who has got a great attention to detail. You don't necessarily need to be someone that can retain information that much. I'm certainly not someone, I always say I've got a goldfish memory because I see something and then I forget it. But I do like figuring things out. And once I've figured something out, I don't forget it. So that's a quality that you need to be able to have. Enjoy understanding business. If you look at taxation, you kind of think that your scope is getting smaller because it's now focused on a subsection of accounting. But in actual fact, if you want to do tax calculations, you do need to understand the business and the business processes quite well in order for you to be able to give the right advice to your clients. And then something else that the tax environment offers that I particularly like a lot is, I always say taxation is like electricity, okay? Because I want to press my plug into the socket and I want to switch on the electricity and it must just work, okay? Or I must turn on my lights and the lights must shine. I don't want to know about parallel and series. I don't want to know about kilowatts. I don't want to know anything about that. I just want to know that if I press the button, my lights are going to come on. And people out there are unfortunately very much the same about tax. It's such a daunting subject for a lot of people that it's really an area where you are able to provide people with help. It's a consulting type of environment, and the role that you play is in assisting people who want to be compliant and want to do their taxation correctly, but they really don't know how to. And for them, taxation is so complex, they don't want to actually even apply themselves fully to understand the reasons why. So it's really fulfilling in that way that it's not, I come from an auditing background. It's not auditing in that it's a have to have at clients. It's a nice to have for clients, and that makes quite a big difference. Okay, then also remember in taxation, just like in any other accounting field, you are exposed to quite a lot of different type of entities, which I also find very interesting in meeting different people in different industries. Okay, now let's look specifically at site, the designations that we offer. The first one that's relevant here is our tax technician designation. And I quickly want to put my laser pointer on. So the tax technician designation here is offered for an NQF 5 level of student, which at least has 5 years of experience in the last 7 years. Or then it is offered for somebody with an NQF 6 qualification and then structured 3 years at an approved workplace. Okay, so if we now talk about the logbook, that means you have an NQF 6 and 3 years worth of logbook experience, where that logbook or portfolio of evidence is completed to signify that you have the workplace experience that is required for you to be competent as a tax technician. We have a GTP, General Tax Practitioner, that is on an NQF 7 level with 5 years of experience in the last 7 years, and a tax advisor, which is our flagship designation that we offer. And that is particularly for people with an NQF 8 in tax, accounting, law, or economics, and then also a 3 years workplace experience required. And then, of course, we have our penultimate, the master tax practitioners, and that's on an NQF 9 with 10 years of experience. We do also offer transfer pricing specialist designations, and we have pending applications for customs compliance practitioners, and then very much in masters of customs and trade practitioners. Okay, so and tax accounting compilers, but those are still very, very new. So site is continuously evolving. We have a lot of interaction, specifically under the leadership of our CEO, Keith Engel, with industry and with the tax practitioners to make sure that we align our designations to the needs of the environment that we are serving. So that's just on the different designations that we have and the evolving and the creation of new designations by site. Now, we offer those professional body memberships, the same as and we are accredited by SAQA. We have our accredited qualifications, and then we, of course, again, the tax technician qualification and designation, and the tax professional occupation qualification and designation. Okay, and this is just now a summary for us. Tax technician level on the diploma or advanced certificate level, and then you add onto that your 3 years worth of articles, where taxation is your main activity, and a tax professional bachelor's in honors degree or post-grad diploma, or and that is on the NQF 8 level. If I just quickly speak about the difference between a tax technician and a tax professional, the work that a tax technician does is very much focused on compliance. So this would be performing tax returns for companies, individuals, provisional tax returns, VAT returns, and then also answering very simple questions, not simple as in stupid, simple as in not complex, non-complex opinion drafting and non-complex interaction with SARS. So that's mainly what the tax technician focuses their attention to. A tax professional should be able to do all of those tasks, but in addition to that, a tax professional is also able to express complicated opinions and then also do dispute resolution with SARS. So this is where SARS disallows a specific deduction or allowance, and where you then, as a tax professional, must argue your case with SARS. So also a little bit of that type of legal argument that is required of a tax professional. So those are the two. And I just want to also say here that if we look at, or if we talk about tax returns, when I worked at KPMG, some of my clients were banks, some of my clients were mines. I had one client where the amount was so big that they didn't even fit into the little blocks on the tax return. So you get to see various types of clients, and it's very stimulating to be able to work with such a massive numbers, or even if it's small numbers, but those numbers do make a very, very big impact on your clients. As we all know, with our tax that we have to pay, it does take off money from the bottom line. So the more assistance we can provide our clients with regards to structuring their tax affairs, minimizing their tax risks, that's the most important. That should be important to you if you are considering a career in taxation. Included here is just a slide on all of the workplaces that are accredited at the moment, and we are slowly but surely accrediting more and more workplaces. A very big gain was that SARS has also now become a registered workplace with SAIT. And that's important because it shows that SARS also supports the tax technician, tax professional designations, and that it carries weight with SARS. It is acknowledged. That is the presentation that I have. I've got an email address here, education@thissite.org.za. If it is something that if there are any questions that you have that you would like to pose to us at a later stage. And I wonder if I can open the floor then now for any other questions that might be coming from the people on the stage, or on that's on this website or on this presentation. Sorry.
Definitely, we can open up the Q&A session. Do we have any questions for Ms. Annelie?
It seems like we've lost our audience a little bit. I think they have, they are all need a little bit of a break or a comfort break. I just want to say here that a career in taxation, you must always remember that the content that you learn at university, and that's really my passion, is to make sure that once a student is finished with their qualification, they are able to apply that knowledge. Just remember that even if you might not enjoy taxation as much at university level, there is a bit of a gap between what you study at university and how you actually apply it in real life. And it's an unfortunate thing that we can't first work and then decide what we're going to study, because you don't really know yourself well enough to know what you're going to enjoy doing at a later stage. I can, though, say that in taxation, there is a really wonderful career that is available to you guys, and especially because of the need in the marketplace for tax experts and tax specialists. Okay, it doesn't seem that we have any other questions. I am, though, just going to type here the email address if you guys want to use another forum to raise any questions that you might have. And I thank you very much for the opportunity to be here with you today.
Thank you, Ms. Annelie. We truly appreciate it. Please do look out for questions that may arise during the presentation if you're still going to be with us in the chat box, and answer from there.
Okay, great. Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much. We will be going into our polls section where we post-evaluation questions and humbly ask that you please answer so that we are able to improve our sessions, we are able to improve our workshops and events in the future to give you relevant information and information that is valuable to you. So please do answer the poll questions. It will pop up on your screen. Just answer for it to go away, and we will be posting 4 questions in the session of the evaluation. So the first question will not be moved until you answer. So please just click whether you agree, whether you're neutral, or whether you disagree, and post the next question. I see the poll question is receiving a thumbs up. Please don't thumbs up, rather enter into the 3 dots, whether you agree, whether you're neutral, or you disagree. Okay, I see it says I can't vote. It says something went wrong. Okay, please try again. The next poll has been launched. Please try and see if it will allow you to vote. Okay, colleagues, I do not know why you are unable to, because on my end, when I click the vote, it submits the vote. But we will fix that technical glitch and we will ask more questions in a later stage for the evaluation. Thank you so much for your cooperation. This is the end of my program directing. I will hand over to my colleague, Ms. Mahlatsi Mpatlele, who will take you through to the rest of the program till the end. Thank you so much for your cooperation with me, and give a warm welcome to Ms. Mahlatsi Mpatlele. Ma'am, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Good afternoon. As my colleague, Ms. Munondo, has already introduced me, my name is Mahlatsi Mpatlele, your program director for the rest of the day. Thank you for engaging with us and the speakers thus far. And without any further waste of time, let us just keep on going with our program. So our next speakers are representatives from PricewaterhouseCoopers. We have Ms. Palesa Chabalala. She's a national graduate recruiter at PwC, based in the Waterfall office in Johannesburg. And we also have Roger Wiley, who is an audit trainee and global tech ambassador, who will present on PwC's Digital Acceleration Initiative. Ms. Chabalala, are you ready? Are you with us?
Hi, Mahlatsi. Yes, I am. How are you? Hello? Hi, Mahlatsi. Can you hear me? I'm not sure if anyone can hear me. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes, we
Oh,
can
okay.
hear you, ma'am. You can
All right.
proceed.
Awesome. No problem. And I hope that everyone can see my screen as well. I've shared my screen. I hope that everyone can see that as well.
We can.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much, Mahlatsi, for that introduction. And thank you everyone for joining us this morning for PwC's presentation. Thank you so much for choosing us, PwC, the firm that won 4 awards at the SAGIA, that's the South African Graduates Employees Association. It is thanks to you, students and graduates, that we won those awards. So thank you so much for that. As Mahlatsi would have said earlier, my name is Balala, and I form part of the National Graduate Talent Acquisition team at PwC. So in addition to recruiting for the audit trainees, I do look after non-audit programs as well. And that includes forensics, our Deals Edge programs, as well as strategy and within our advisory business. And I am based in our Waterfall office in Johannesburg. And I'm not running alone today. I'm actually going to be joined by my amazing colleague, Roger Wiley, who you'll get to meet a little bit later on. And before I introduce Roger or get into the fun stuff, I just wanted to touch a little bit about PwC's values. So PwC's purpose is to build trust in society and solve important problems. Our purpose and values help us to be relevant, so that people feel that PwC is the right brand to be associated with. This sets the expectation of the experience that someone will get when they come to PwC, and it helps us to build the image we want to have in the market. We are built on firm values that all employees show commitment to every day. What I love about these values is that it doesn't just relate to our work or professional lives, but it also resonates with our personal lives or personal values as well. We act with integrity, and that speaks to that we speak for what is right, especially when it feels difficult in doing things, and we do things as if our own personal reputation were at stake, and we make a difference. And this means that we stay motivated, and we ask questions about the future of the world that we live in. We care. And what that means is that we take the time to try and understand every individual and what is important to them. And we also recognize the value that each person contributes. We work together, and that means that we collaborate and we share relationships and knowledge, so that we can create a diverse range of perspectives and ideas from each other. And finally, we reimagine the possible. And this speaks to having an open mind to learn and challenge ourselves to new possibilities. So just to give a practical example, during the lockdown and the pandemic, our values could not have been more evident. We demonstrated care by checking in on each other. We were given opportunities to join virtual sessions based on our own personal needs and situations. We had virtual gym sessions in the morning and in the afternoon to keep our bodies active during the lockdown. We received care packages just to make us feel that we were all together and not alone during a difficult time. So PwC values us as individuals and knows that everyone has different challenges. And reimagining the possible is demonstrated in two ways. Firstly, even before we went into lockdown, we were able to use our network and technology to be able to work from home. So we were fairly comfortable from that aspect. But secondly, we never had done virtual programs like this before. We would normally have, coming into the office or going into an office like UNISA, for example, but we were able to quickly adapt and just reaching audiences regardless of the challenges or the lockdowns, for example. So yeah, and based on this and many other examples, we were able to make a difference and act with integrity as a group. All right, and like I would have mentioned earlier, we don't just recruit for the CA or audit training contracts, but we do have quite a bit of graduate programs and opportunities. So as you can see on my screen, we've got programs such as SIPA, for example. We've got the CA and non-CTA programs that we offer, as well as IT risk assurance. And those would look at IT audit or SEP and cybersecurity, for example, where we would look at students who've done a BSc in computer science, for example, or IT, or even sometimes even a BCom management accounting for these particular programs. And we also do have a site or a tax graduate program that we offer. And within our advisory space, we've got 4 programs that are Foundation for the Future, the Edge Deals program, Strategy and as well as Forensics. And for these programs, we do look for students who've done accounting, for example, but we also look at students who've done business management or business science, for example. We look at IT and financial management. So we do have quite a few opportunities available. And what I'll do is actually in the chat is just add the link to our portal where you can see the programs that we have available. And if you feel like one of these is right for you, then you're more than welcome to apply for that. All right, so now that I'm done with that, I'm going to introduce my colleague Raja. Like Mahletsi would have said, I'm not alone. Raja Wiley, our training auditor, audit trainee and global tech ambassador, is going to join us today. Raja, over to you. Hi, Raja. I'm seeing your message. You are not able to turn on your camera or unmute. Mahletsi, I'm not sure if you might be able to help us with that. Are you able
I am
to?
here. Just got the access there.
Okay, great. Thank you.
And I'm assuming that you can hear me too.
Yes, we can. We can.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for having me here today. I'm always very, very excited to chat about PwC's digital sphere because there is always so much going on there. PwC has embarked on a very adventurous journey over the past 4 years, just diving straight into technology. Just a whole bunch of things that we're going to go through today. Unfortunately, we can't do it in as much detail as I usually do, so I'm going to give you a brief overview of everything. So may we please go to the next slide? And then one more slide. Can we just get to the next slide there? Okay, perfect. Oh gosh, she seems to be skipping through everything. Should we go back to the first slide there? And then now let's go one next. Okay, so the contents of today's discussion is going to be all about taking control, designing your own future. It's going to be about something incredible called PwC's Citizen-Led Drive, which is the strategy that really differentiates PwC in terms of their digital story. I'll also tell you a little bit about my story because just 3 years ago, I was in university. I was studying the whole CA route. So this is only my 3rd year of articles, but PwC has given me the most crazy journey through tech and through the organization since I joined. Lastly, if I have time, I'll demo a workflow and then we will enter into a Q&A session. So let's go to the next slide. Okay, so designing your own future. What do I mean by that? Well, PwC recognized that with the advent of the fourth industrial revolution, 2 historically independent fields were converging. Now, what fields are those? That is engineering and finance. Now, these 2 fields have always existed in isolation. The engineers have done their own thing and the finance professionals have done their own thing. But over the past few years, we've seen these 2 fields merge, come together, and demand more from us. So what does that mean for you? That means in about, I'd say, 3 to 5 years, these 2 fields will, I want to say, converge officially, and a new job will exist that requires proficiency in both fields. And if you have got that proficiency, you'll be set up very, very well to create a very good future for yourself and a fantastic career. So basically, the idea is you have to do it, so why not do it really, really well? And that is where PwC's Citizen-Led Drive comes in. So let's go to the next slide. Okay, what is PwC's Citizen-Led Drive? Well, when PwC refers to citizens, they're referring to employees. Employees are the citizen in this company-wide ecosystem that we like to foster. So we put the power back in the hands of the employees, and when it comes to all specialized IT functions, typically, firms would have a centralized IT function. PwC said that that is archaic. Given the advent of the fourth industrial revolution, given this convergence that I mentioned, it makes more sense that we allow everybody to become the specialist, that if they've got an IT problem, they can solve it themselves instead of always having to refer to a central team. From an accounting point of view, that means that you will gain proficiency in the digital sphere or the IT sphere. And as an IT professional or an engineer, that means that they will give you proficiency in finance. And that is really a fantastic differentiator for PwC. We've got a whole bunch of initiatives, for example, the Digital Lab, which is a digital repository like a little app store of automations that you can then select and use at any time of day. And these automations or apps have been created by employees all around the globe. I've created some, I've got friends who've created some. You contribute, you share, and you just work together as one significant unit around the globe. So what is my story in terms of innovation? So historically or typically, trainees will just go through their articles and they'll only do accounting. But I told PwC, and that's what I really love about PwC. If you tell them that you are interested in something, they give you the opportunity to explore it. So I have got a training contract, normal accounting, and I said, listen, I really want to learn programming. So they gave me courses, they gave me software, they gave me everything that I needed to become proficient in programming. And then once I did become proficient, they gave me a bunch of projects that nobody else would have had access to. So since then, I then joined the Africa Assurance Innovation Team. I won the Psycho Trainee Trailblazer of the Year Award, and I was then promoted or nominated as the Global Tech Ambassador for the South of Africa. So that's been a really wild ride. I've got to see a lot of technology from both our firm and all of our competing firms, and I must say that PwC impresses me every single day. not necessarily because we have the most complex software, just because we give everybody equal opportunities to learn and grow their career in whichever way that they would like to. The historical corporate ladder, or the cliche, the corporate ladder, that is gone. So it's not a ladder, it's now literally just a path that you create yourself to the top. That can be a straight line, it can be a curvy line, it can be literally anything that you tell PwC that you are interested in. And that is why I appreciate and enjoy working here. So let's go to the next slide. Looks like the top is cut off a little bit there, but basically I'm talking about the concept of scalable solutions. So I've got one example of an asset that I've built myself through PwC Citizen-led Drive. It's a bank statement data extractor. It's actually not what I'm going to be showing you today, but the idea is that you build it once, but you use it everywhere. So it takes about, I want to say, 2 hours to build, but the time savings, because these tools have been built to be applied across various engagements, various teams, the time savings are immeasurable because there are an infinite amount of people and use cases for these assets that you build. So if I can maybe just share my screen quickly, I'd like to show you what one of these assets look like, just because I find that that really helps bolster understanding when it comes to all of these automations, because everyone talks about it, but until you see it, you don't really get it. So this is automated Forex testing. And essentially how we would do this in the past is we would go onto Google and we would search for a reputable source such as FX Top. Once we were here, we'd navigate to historical rates. We would then select the currencies that we are interested in, can be really anything. And we would select a start date. As you can see, quite manual here. We'd select an end date. And then we could press go. And only then we would get all the exchange rates that we needed, but we'd still have to go and actually convert the amounts. So we'd take the exchange rates, and then based on the amount that they have in maybe their general ledger or their financial statements, we would then convert that. And that can become very arduous because sometimes you have literally 200 exchange rates that you need to convert. And of those 200 exchange rates, you can have 1,000 amounts that you have to research. So when you are testing exchange rates, it can take up to a week, 2 weeks of just really manual and boring work. So we said there has to be a better way to do this. And that's when we went to Ultrix. Ultrix is not a PwC exclusive, but PwC is the only firm that allows all of their employees to have Ultrix. It's a low-code programming software. So what they've done is they've taken the most efficient, best code from around the globe, and they've put it into these tools that you can see at the top. What does that mean? That means you can just click and drag various tools onto this canvas. You can create an automation visually depicted as a flow diagram. So if I need to filter something, I drag that in. If I would like a formula, I would also drag that in. If I need to select a sample, drag that in. And you can see there are so many different tools to choose from. So it makes automating things really easy because it's you don't actually have to program it, so you don't have to become a programming expert. All you have to do is understand the logic behind automations, behind digitization, and then you can become your own tech ambassador. So let's take a look at automated Forex testing. This is the tool that we created, and essentially all you have to do is upload your input file. This can be a general ledger, it can be really anything. I'm just going to run the workflow so that you can see what the data looks like. Okay, here we go. So you can see it's just a standard general ledger. I've got amounts in a local currency. I've got amounts in a foreign currency over here. And I've got a whole bunch of other information that I don't actually need. But now I need to check that the amounts in the local currency have been converted to the amounts in the foreign currency correctly. So all I have to do is go over here. I enter my tolerable deviation percentage, which is basically the maximum error that I would expect. I then select the column representing my dates. I select the column representing my local currency abbreviation, and so forth. And one big issue we have with automating things is the fact that date formats are never the same. And why is that important? It's because if your program, if Excel, if anything doesn't recognize something as a date, it then can't use that to search for the amount online. So my current date is a number, as you can see over here. It is just a number. That means that Ultrix, Excel, really any program would interpret this as a very large number instead of a date. We need to change that. So over here, all we have to do is paste an example of our date, and then we go over here and we map it once. Hold on. Let's go to August, and we map it once to a calendar. Ultrix then learns from that mapping and converts the rest of your dates into the correct format. So pretty cool. And you can see this did not take a lot of time to set up, but it can literally test thousands of amounts in under a minute, I'd say. So let's run it and see what that looks like. Right now, it is going online to FXtop for me, performing hundreds of different searches, bringing all that data into Ultrix, and then performing all my testing for me. So if I take a look, we've got the old date format over here. We've got the new date format. You can see that is now separated by year, month, and day. That means it can be interpreted as a date. We've got the amounts in local currency, and then at the very end over here, you can see we've got the PwC rate, which is the rate that we got online right now through Ultrix. Then we've got the client rate, and that is the recalculated exchange rate by dividing their local currency by the foreign currency. After that, we get a percentage difference, and if that is above our tolerable deviation percentage of 1, then that'll be identified as an exception over here. But as you can see, we don't have any exceptions really. So that is pretty much the power of Ultrix, and that is the power that PwC gives to every single employee, which I find very exciting because this is literally one example of hundreds. We've actually got thousands of these assets that anybody can use in the practice. No other firm has a digital lab, no other firm has a citizen-led approach to automating things, and pretty much no other firm has our strategy. So I really enjoy working for PwC. I really enjoy carving out my career instead of following the typical corporate ladder. And if you have any questions, then please feel free to ask.
Thank you so much, Mr. Roger and Ms. Chabalala, for that informative presentation. I am sure our students have learned more about the opportunities offered at PwC and how PwC encourages so much innovative ideas. Moving on to the question and answer session, please ask your question in the chat box, or alternatively make use of the reactions or emoji function by raising your hand and asking a question.
Is that a hand raise?
Yes, we have a question. Can you please unmute your mic and ask your question?
Hi, Palisa.
Hello.
So I would like to ask, so for articles, if I want to do articles with PwC, do I have to apply when I've completed my honors degree in accounting, or I can apply while having a degree in accounting only, then still studying part-time for my honors?
Okay, sure. Raja, I'll take that one. Yes, so you can apply while you're still doing your undergrad. You don't have to wait till the end. I always encourage and suggest that you apply as early as possible. So then, so we'll look at your academic transcripts to date, and we'll also look at your matric results as well. And if we feel that you are strong enough to go through the process, then we will interview you and give you as much information as we can give you along the way. But yes, you can apply now. You don't have to wait until the very end. I hope that answers the question. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. And also, lastly, so do you consider UNISA students? Because I've seen other firms, not audit firms, maybe banking, most of the time they exclude UNISA students. I don't know why, when you have to do articles in the bank.
No, so we wouldn't not look at you because you come from UNISA. We do look at all the institutions. I think as long as it is a SAICA accredited qualification, then yes, of course, we would still be able to look at you, regardless of the institution.
Okay, thank you.
I work with a lot of UNISA students.
Yeah.
Oh, great. Perfect.
We also have another question from Mashiro. Can you please unmute and ask your question?
Hi, Palisa, and hi, Roger. I was asking if you guys still offer winter is it vacation jobs?
Okay, I'll take that one as well, Raja. Yes, we do. Sorry, I didn't catch your name. Your name is Masejo, right?
Khofa One.
Sorry?
My name is Khofa One and my
Oh,
second.
Khofa One. Okay, got it. No problem. Khofane, yes, we do offer VAC work. So we do, because of the lockdown and COVID restrictions, we were having VAC work done virtually, but we have started to kind of slowly open it up to students to come into the office. It's not open right now, but we should have another session towards the end of the year and possibly again in the beginning of 2023. So yes, you would be able to apply for that, and we do offer vacation work opportunities. And how you would apply for that is that it's not alive right now, but I would suggest maybe within the next month or so, if you go on our career portal, I did put the link in the chat earlier. If you apply, then if we do have spots or spaces available, then we will reach out to you and invite you to one of the sessions.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you. Lastly, what criteria do you guys use in the selection?
For VAC work?
Yes, ma'am.
So for VAC work, we do typically give preference to our students who are signed with us. However, that doesn't mean that if you're not signed, you wouldn't be able to join us. We would obviously look at your which year of study you're in. We do like to give preference to our students who are in their second and third year. I think we try to avoid inviting first years, and because everything's still new to them, and we also try to avoid inviting CTA students only because you have so much work to do. But if you are in your second or third year, then we will reach out to you and let you know if a spot is available.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much.
No problem at all.
We also have a question in the chat box. It's from Sony. It says, within the IT risk and assurance, do you have programs for people who possess vendor certificates, or is it strictly for B Science or BCom IT students?
A vendor certificate. No, so I think that it would definitely have to be some sort of 3-year qualification. So if you've got a BCom IT or informatics, for example, or even a business science qualification, yes, we would have to look at you. We would look at you, but also I just have to mention one thing with those programs. A minimum requirement for us is to look at students who are currently completing their honors or who have completed their honors. So that's just something to take note of. So we wouldn't be able to look at you with an undergrad qualification, but we can look at you if you are working towards your honors or if you have completed your honors. I hope that answers the question.
Thank you so much, Palisa. I hope that answers Sony's question. We also have another question in the chat box. It says, hi there. I'm doing forensic and investigating auditing and definitely would like to ask if you have any opportunities for me. I'm left with one module.
Okay, yes, thanks so much for that question. Yes, we do offer a graduate program within our forensics graduate program within our advisory space. And like I would have mentioned earlier, for those programs, we do look at honors students. So if you are doing your last year in undergrad, unfortunately, we wouldn't be able to look at you right now. But if you are planning on doing your honors, then yes, absolutely, we do have opportunities available for that qualification.
Thank you so much, Palisa, and thank you so much, Mr. Roger. Thank you for engaging with our students. May I please ask that you answer any more questions that are in the chat box? Sure. And I would also advise that our students also ask any questions that they have in the chat box.
Okay. Mahlatsi, just a quick one. I'm just going to put our details or the graduate recruitment team's details on the screen, just in case you'd like to, if, for example, we don't get to answer your question now, you're more than welcome to reach out to any one of us here. You can reach out to Karabo, Nondumiso, Gina, Larato, myself, or Steffi, and we will get back to you as soon as we can. So I would encourage you guys to either take a screenshot or even take a picture of this, and you can reach out to one of us and we will get back to you as soon as we can. Thank you very much. Thanks, Mahlatsi. Thanks, Roger. All right, then. Have a good afternoon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for engaging with us, to all our attendees. Also would like to advise that our students who are live streaming on our YouTube channel that you can also ask your questions in the chat box and they will be answered by our speakers right here live. So moving on to our next speaker, we have Mr. Swanepoel, who is an acting COD at UNISA Department of Taxation. He'll be sharing insights of what it entails to be a tax practitioner professional. Mr. Swanepoel, are you ready?
Good afternoon, ma'am. Yes, I am. I will put my camera on just for a few seconds, then I will share my screen with you that you can just see what I look like. There I am. I'm not in the mountains, just the background to lighten up the day. Can you hear me properly?
You are a little bit faint.
I believe my sound is good. My side, everything here seems fine. Let me just check. Oh. Can you hear me?
Still a little bit faint. Maybe if you could just raise your volume.
Volume is on the maximum. I can't raise it more. But I'm going to share my screen and hopefully you guys can see it. Can you see it on your side?
Yes, sir, we can see it.
Thank you. I have shared this presentation with the organizers, so they have it if they want to share that with the students as well. Okay, so I am the current acting COD, the Department of Taxation. They call me Prof. Bula Swanepoel. I just go by the name Bula, so I'm very informal. So the College of Accounting Sciences, just a little background for the students. They've got 6 departments, of which the tax department is one of the undergrad departments that forms part of the School of Accountancy. So I was asked to do something, make a presentation on a career as a tax practitioner, insights and challenges. Myself, being an academic and also a part-time tax practitioner, share this from my practice experience over the past 30 years. So this is not just thumbs up, it's real day and life experiences. All right, who is regarded as a tax practitioner? Now, this comes from the Tax Administration Act. Every person who provides advice to another person with respect to the application of a tax act, or completes or assists in completing a document to be submitted to SARS by another person in terms of a tax act, must register with a recognized controlling body, in short, an RCB, and with SARS as a tax practitioner. And Section 240, subsection 1 of the Tax Administration Act governs that registration. And you have to register within 21 business days after you have first become or partake in the provision of advice or complete or assists, or to complete any form of a tax return. Now, tax returns takes on various forms for the students. It could be income tax, it could be pay-as-you-earn returns, it could be value-added tax, or it could be other tax returns. Now, the requirements to register as a tax practitioner. A prospective tax practitioner should be in possession of a professional qualification recognized by the following professional bodies, which we call as an RCB, in order to register with SARS as a tax practitioner. This morning there was a presentation from CIMA, the Chartered Institute of Management Accountants. So all these professions or professional bodies listed below have been accredited by SARS as being eligible for their members to become tax practitioners registered with SARS. The Chartered Governance Institute of Southern Africa, formerly known as the CSSA, the Financial Planning Institute, the Institute of Accounting and Commerce, IAC, the South African Institute of Chartered Accountants, SAICA, which you are probably familiar with, Then this SA Institute of Professional Accountants, SIPA. And then this SA Institute of Tax Practitioners, SITE. Annelie Hage made a presentation this morning from their profession side. The Association of Chartered Certified Accountants, ACCA. The Southern African Institute for Business Accountants, SIBA. And the following controlling bodies listed below are automatically recognized by SARS. The Independent Regulatory Board for Auditors, in short, IRBA. So if you are a qualified chartered accountant and you want to do audits, you have to register with IRBA as a RA, a registered auditor, or the Legal Practice Council. That will include your attorneys and your lawyers and advocates. Now, for a RCB to be recognized by SARS as being able to provide the necessary requirements for their members to become tax practitioners registered with SARS, each of those listed RCBs in the previous slide must have minimum qualifications and experience requirements. There must be continuing professional education requirements, in short, CPD. They must have a code of ethics and conduct, which regulate the behavior and conduct of their members. Tax compliance here refers to the tax compliance of the member. And there should be a disciplinary process and procedures. So those are some of the requirements, the minimum requirements. Moving on, some insights from a tax practitioner's side. A tax practitioner must act in a professional manner between the taxpayer client and SARS. SARS is just short for the South African Revenue Service. In this relationship, the tax practitioner should act with required professional competence and due care in a manner upholding the codes of ethics and conduct. It's very important to be professional in your conduct. The tax practitioner must be tax compliant in his personal tax affairs. If he's not compliant, SARS might deregister him or her as a tax practitioner with SARS. The tax practitioner should complete the annual minimum verifiable continuing professional education requirements, CPD. Most or all of the professional bodies offer CPD for their members, and each of them have different minimum variable hours. It's roughly between 16 to 22 verifiable hours as CPD. The tax practitioner should be aware of the RCB's disciplinary process and procedures. Display a high level of integrity. Always act objectively in all tax aspects. Treat the information of your tax clients with the necessary confidentiality. You deal with confidential information, you should not disclose that to anybody. Your professional behavior should never be questionable. And that also goes beyond just your professional behavior, also in your private capacity. Remember, if you're a tax practitioner, you're in the public domain, and it's important to uphold all of those also in your private life. Tax practitioners should have formal written appointment letters for all their tax clients, such as individuals, companies, closed corporations, and trusts, to regulate, amongst other, the following. It's very important to have a written agreement with your client. In that written appointment letter, the following is, amongst others, should be displayed: the services to be rendered to the tax client, the fees that will be charged. Your client needs to know what you will charge him or her. The compliance duty on yourself and your tax client in all tax matters. The duty vested upon you to declare irregularities once you become aware of it. If your tax client is dealing in illicit trade, for example, involved in the, let's say, selling drugs and stuff like that, and you become aware of it, you have to report that. Only upon receiving the written consent from a tax client, the tax practitioner may disclose information from the taxpayer client to the requesting third party, unless required by law. Now, required by law in this instance is where For example, you've submitted a tax return for your tax client via e-filing to SARS, and SARS requests supporting documents, for example, in the case of individual IRP files, etc. Again, it's just a courtesy to inform your client that you have to submit this. You don't need his written approval for that. It's required by law. But if a third party, let's say the bank, asks you for certain information from your tax client, you need a written consent from your client before that can be provided to the bank. A tax practitioner must comply with the statutory duties of legal disclosure where the tax practitioner has proof or suspicion of any criminal activity involving the taxpayer client. Again, I'm referring to if you become aware that all of a sudden there's a huge buildup of cash in the client's bank account through illicit trading, for example, selling counterfeit goods or involved in criminal activities, you have a duty to report that. Right, some of the challenges the tax practitioner may face in practice. Dealing with a taxpayer client who may not be tax compliant. Now, what is tax compliance in this instance? Where the taxpayer client does not submit tax returns the way it should be, for example, value-added tax, where not the full turnover is disclosed or the taxable supplies, etc., etc. Discovering irregularities that may have occurred in relation to a taxpayer client's tax affairs. Once you deal with tax issues that might come to light, discovering that the taxpayer client is or may be involved in criminal activities. I've alluded to what will constitute a criminal activity. And the tax practitioner may also be reported for unprofessional conduct to the relevant RCP. Now, that unprofessional conduct, either a taxpayer client or SARS may report the tax practitioner to his RCP. Some more challenges. A tax client may refuse to follow the advice of the tax practitioner regarding issues of disclosure to SARS. If you inform your client that he must disclose certain information to SARS and he doesn't follow that, you cannot make the client to do that. Or you may receive a request from a third party to disclose information about the taxpayer client to such third party. Remember, you will need the written permission of your client. So don't be tempted when you're at a braai or informal function to do some quick dropping of names, etc. A request from a taxpayer client to address an adverse tax position using non-permissible measures. Your client experiences a cash flow pressure and he asks you that you need to underdeclare the VAT turnover for the current VAT period. That will be constituting tax evasion, so don't fall for that. Avoid the conflict of interest with taxpayer clients. It's very important. You need to keep your distance from your clients. I'm not saying you can't befriend your client, but keep your distance. Taxpayer clients may not follow full disclosure in all tax matters. That's a dreadful one. Not keeping detailed notes of meetings and telephone conversations with taxpayer clients. It's very important that you document everything in an engagement with your client, whether it's in a meeting or a telephone conversation, etc. And refrain from providing verbal tax advice to your taxpayer clients. The client phone you quickly say, I've got this issue. Best advice, ask him to send you an email and that you can respond to the email. At least then you have something in writing from the client. You understand the context. You answer him via email, and there's a record of the engagement that happened. Some more challenges. Not keeping proper working papers and tax files of all the professional tax work done. It's very important. Even if you're a tax practitioner, it's similar to what an auditor is doing. Keep proper working papers. Do not discuss the tax affairs of any taxpayer client with any other third party. A tax practitioner must consider the statutory reporting standard for money laundering. Where you have illicit trading, for example, when the client is involved in, let's say, selling of drugs or counterfeit goods, etc., money laundering might be on the cards. When advertising tax services, it must be done with due sense of responsibility to the tax profession and the public. Don't advertise your services as being the best in town, thereby implicating that the other tax professionals are not doing a proper job. Also, refrain from criticizing another tax practitioner. It often happens that you end up getting a new client, and that client tells you how bad the previous tax practitioner was, etc., etc. Don't fall for the trap and start resonating what the new client has said. Neglecting your own tax compliance. At this stage, there's a huge amount of money owing by tax practitioners to SARS in the personal capacity. So that's a form of non-compliance. Not remaining current through CPD. As a tax practitioner, you need to be updated on an annual basis of all the tax amendments. Tax laws change annually, and you need to be up to speed with all the new amendments. Not charging fees to be commensurate with the nature and complexity of a task. Fees are also always a very contentious issue. Never charge a contingency fee for the completion of a tax return. For example, if you know that the taxpayer client will receive a refund due to medical expenses or retirement annuity contributions, etc., then you base your fee on a percentage of the refund. That will be a contingency fee. It's not permissible and it's unprofessional. My second last slide, I'm not sure whether if you guys have being involved with auditing, etc., you probably would have come across the term NOCLAR, which is defined as any act of commission, intentional or unintentional, committed by a client or the professional accountants employing organization, or by those charged with governance, by management, or by other individuals working for or under the direction of a client or employing organization which is contrary to prevailing laws and regulations. This came in working on the 15th of July 2017, so it's already about more than 5 years in place. A tax practitioner has a responsibility to act in relation to NOCLAR when he becomes aware of NOCLAR or suspects NOCLAR, for example, discovering financial fraud, money laundering, or corruption. Then the tax practitioner has a duty to declare that. For example, if you are dealing with a company and you deal with the financial director, for example, and you discover something in the tax affairs of a company, you need to report that to the financial director or at least to the CEO, that it is noted. My last slide, some closing comments. A registered tax practitioner is a professional person who must display integrity, objectivity, professional competence, and due care, treat all taxpayer clients' information confidential, and to always display professional behavior. Respect the code of conduct of your RCB and endorse that code of conduct. Respect and foster good relationships with clients, avoiding conflicts of interest. Be tax compliant. And lastly, promote cooperation and good relations between tax practitioners. As a tax practitioner myself, it's a very demanding profession, but it's also very rewarding. You work with different types of taxpayer clients, with different industries, etc. So you learn a lot about specific industries, and also it's very great in building up good relationship with clients. That, Madam Director, is my story.
Thank you so much, Professor Will. I would like to open up the question and answer session. If you have any questions, please post them in the chat box. or just raise up your hand using the reactions or emoji function. It seems as though we do not have any questions right now, but if you are able to maybe stay in for the session and maybe answer the questions that are in the chat box, if they do come, that would be great.
I will most certainly do so, Madam Chair.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Now we have come to our segment where we will be asking for student feedback. As the counseling unit, we pride ourselves in providing our students with workshops such as these. So we ask that you please help us improve and please help us improve by providing us with any feedback. There will be poll questions popping up on your screen. The first poll question has popped on your screen right now. If you may, could you please answer it? I would like to also remind you that your responses will remain anonymous. It seems as though we're still having technical glitches with our poll questions, but another poll question has been posted. Please do try the next poll questions that have been posted and okay, we are getting responses from some students. So for those that are getting errors, it might just be your connectivity or something of that sort. Maybe you could try to exit and re-enter the workshop and maybe see if you could answer the poll questions. Thank you so much. The fourth poll question has been launched. Please just tell us what you have learned on this workshop so that we know how to improve and which information you would like to also get moving forward. The next poll question has also been launched. Please just keep on engaging with us. If the poll question has not popped up on your screen, please try to scroll up in the chat box. You will see poll questions have been launched there too. The next poll question has been launched. If you have any comments or suggestions, please just enter your response and submit in your response to us. Thank you so much. The last question has been launched. It just reads as follows. How do you prefer to attend workshops? Do you prefer online or hybrid? Hybrid just means in person and online. Please just submit your response. Thank you so much to everyone who was able to engage with us through these poll questions. We really do appreciate that. To give us our vote of thanks, please allow me to just introduce a colleague of mine who is a student counselor based in the Vaal. Ms. Debale, the stage is yours.
Good afternoon, colleagues. As I am being introduced, I am a student counselor from Vaal. My apologies, I'm doing the vote of thanks in the car because today we are having a terrible connectivity in our Vaal center. Okay, so my apologies for that. Then I will start by thanking the honorable speakers. You did it so well. I don't know how to thank you, but I would like to thank you for sharing the insightful information with our students. We thank you for the wonderful preparations that you did. And I'll start with Mr. Hloni Rakomu. Thank you so much, sir. Mr. Sipho Makaba, thank you so much. We really appreciate it. Mrs. Romono Rampasat, thank you so much. Miss Ayanda Matsani and Miss Busisiwe Huma, we thank you for your presentation. Miss Anneli Lache, thank you so much for sharing with us. Miss Palesa Chabalala, your presentation with Mr. Roger Whaley, we thank you so much. And Prof. Bula, thank you so much for your wonderful presentation. I would like to thank you. I don't know how to thank you, but thank you for sharing with our students the knowledge that you have in your different fields and profession. Thank you for accepting the invite and so wonderful preparations. Students, I hope you have learned a lot. You have taken away so many takeaways with you. And thank you again for attending the workshop. Thank you for engaging with our speakers. And thank you so much for attending the evaluation forms on the poll. We really appreciate it because it will make us improve our workshop. Again, I would like to thank the program director for running this program so well. We appreciate it, madam. Thank you so much, Ms. Mabowa, for such a welcoming, such a warm welcome that you have presented to us. We really appreciate it, particularly to our guest speakers and our students. We really appreciate it, madam. And the counseling team, thank you so much for organizing this kind of workshop. Thank you for arranging and communicating with such outstanding speakers who knows their story. We really appreciate it. And I would like again to thank the team which was working behind the scene. We really appreciate it. We really, really appreciate it because it is through you that this workshop is so successful. And I would like to thank everybody, even those who participated, and perhaps by mistake I did not mention their names, but we thank you so much and have a lovely day further. Over to you, Program Director.
Thank you so much, Ms. Dipale. Let me also just reiterate what Ms. Dipale has said. Thank you to our guest speakers, and really thank you to all our students and attendees for taking time out of their busy schedules to be a part of this workshop. So we hope to see you more. We hope to see more of you in our workshops. And from me and the counseling unit, this is goodbye, and we may exit the platform.
Thank you.